ask any question that you want to. And okay, screen. That's a good story. Okay, here's a story. This is a story about Rabbi David of Tolna, the Tolna Rebbe. Story that I heard. Once there was a German Jew, Yekis. The Yekis, I don't know if you know, Jews from different countries have different natures. Of course, there's exceptions, but generally do. So the German Jews, usually, we're talking about religious German Jews. Religious German Jews. In a way, it's no wonder that the whole reform movement and this all started in Germany, right, in the 1800s. 1800s, maybe the 1700s. My history is this. In any case, let me just have a look over here. Just excuse me one moment. I guess 1800. Okay, so because German Jews, generally speaking, they're very balanced. They're very balanced, logical, good-hearted people, but very balanced. They're not, usually the German Jews, they weren't like Misnagin, they weren't opposed to the Chassidim. But on the other hand, they weren't like excited also, about the, see, they're very balanced, very logical, equal justice, just. Anyway, so there was one of these Yeki Jews, religious Jew, and he was a businessman, and it happened to be that he stopped he got caught up in some town. He had to spend the night there. So he went around, found a hotel that had a mezuzah on the door, and he got a room. The owner of the hotel, seeing a rich man come in, he said, we can give you the presidential suite. Presidential suite, which is like, 5, whatever it is, rubles a night. A lot of money. He said, sure, no problem. He gave him the presidential suite. It's not really such a nice room. It was just like the room, the only one that didn't have cracks in the walls or something, but except for there was nothing special. Good, so he gets getting ready, he opens up his suitcase, takes out a few things. Suddenly there's a knock on the door. Yes, door opens up. There's the owner of the hotel with his wife standing behind them. He's like cringing his hands. He's saying, excuse me, please, please don't get angry at us, but we'd like to ask you to move rooms because the Holy Rebbe of Tolna is coming. The Holy Rebbe. So this is a Yeki Jew, a normal, good-hearted Jew. We never heard of such a thing. What is this Rebbe coming? Never heard of such a thing. There was Rebbes were like in Poland and in Russia. These were like for Jews that were, over emotional. But him, a logical, normal, mature person, he didn't know what it was. He heard that there was such a thing, but he didn't have any idea what. So he said, no problem. I'll move rooms. He says, listen, we'll give you the room for free. I said, don't give me the room for free. I have money. I'll pay for the next room. What's the problem? I'll gladly pay. So he goes into the next room, gets ready, and he starts to get in, curious. What is this Rebbe? What's this big thing? They have to move me out of that room and move him. Why can't he take the other room? It makes no difference to me, but let's look and see. So he stands behind this corner, or he peeks out of his door, whatever it is, and he looks and he sees that he and his wife, the owner of the place, the owner of the hotel and his wife, they're bringing up this big chair, this big sort of a plush chair, just barely fits into the room. And meanwhile, they're sweeping out the room and they're cleaning it out and they're mopping it, they're wiping the walls, and they put this big chair right in the middle of the room. So, well, this guy must be pretty special, I wonder what this is. So suddenly there comes up he hears footsteps coming up the And there comes up this Rebbe. He's got this big sort of fur hat on, and he's walking slowly. He's got white socks up to his knees, and his dressed sort of very royally. He's got a cane with a golden top on it, and he's just sort of majestically coming up the stairs. And he's got a helper. Also, the helper is right after him. He's carrying his bags, and the owner of the hotel says, "Oh, the holy Rebbe, oh, I'm so grateful that you're here in my place." And he just sort of looks at them and smiles. So he sits him in the room, he goes into the room, sits down, and they close the door. And the man and his wife, they run downstairs, and about 10 minutes later, they're coming back, and they're all washed, and they have their best garments on. Let me just close the door 1 second, excuse me. They have their best garments on, and and they knock on the door, gingerly, like almost in trepidation. They knock on the door of the helper of this Rebbe, David of Tolnei, opens up the door. Yes, said, "Can we see the Rebbe?" So he said, "Just one moment, I'll ask the Rebbe." Close the door. Opens the door. He said, "Yes, the Rebbe is willing to see you now." Meanwhile, this Yeki Jew is standing. What the heck? What's going on? What is this? What do you mean? There's nobody else here. What do you mean? Can he see you now? Go on. Okay, listen. I'll just keep quiet. I'll watch this. So he goes, and they left the door a little bit open. They left the door a little bit open, and he sees this man and his wife. Hey, they stand there. "Holy Rebbe, we want a blessing for children, for success." Says we don't have any children. We've been married for 10 years. We have no children. The wife is crying. And said, "In our hotel, it's just not really succeeding. Could you give us a blessing?" So the Rebbe says, 20,000 rubles. So the wife gets out a shriek. Wait. The man says, Rebbe, please. That's all we've got from all of our savings, our whole life. Everything we've worked for, everything we have. That's all of the money that we've got. We haven't got anything. 20,000 or nothing. I'm leaving. Meanwhile, this German Jew says, that man is a highway robber. What is he doing to these poor people? He's extorting them. He said, okay, he says to his helper, okay, let's pack up the bags. We're leaving. No, Rebbe. Don't. Please, don't leave. We'll bring the money. Okay, but you have 5 minutes. They run downstairs. In 5 minutes, they come back with the whole bag. He says, points to his helper. They give it to the helper. He pulls over a table. He starts counting. He's counting the money. He puts the coins in one thing. So he says, it's all here, Rebbe. 20,000. He says, all right. I bless you with children, with success, with much good news, and only good news. Now, please leave. Now, that's it. They leave. This German Jew sees this whole thing. He can't believe his eyes. 20,000 rubles, a fortune of money. The man must have worked day and night, him and his wife, in order to get such money. And this guy's just taking. And so this German Jew, he goes downstairs. He wants to calm down. He lights himself a cigarette, goes downstairs, and he's smoking. Suddenly, he hears footsteps coming down. He went outstairs to the back door of this hotel. Suddenly, he hears footsteps coming down from the back door. He goes and he hides behind the tree. And he sees this Rebbe is there with his helper. And he says to his helper, look at this hotel. This is a hotel. Look, the foundations are really strong. And he built, look at this, a dump on top of it. This thing should be 5 stories high. It should extend over to there. There should be over here a swimming pool, a golf course, a place to put the horses, a tennis court. The German Jew is thinking, this man is a businessman or something. This is, he's an entrepreneur. This is not a Rebbe. What's he talking about? I should go and tell the man. He says, no, I saw how much this man believes in the Rebbe. So he left it alone. No, the rich man and he sleeps there. The next morning he leaves. 10 years later, it happens to be that this rich German Jew comes back to the same city. Come back to the same city. He didn't recognize it. 10 years, things change. He didn't recognize it. He gets out of he's trying to sort of get oriented. Where's the place? All of a sudden he hears somebody yelling, hey, hello, 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 hello. A little boy runs. He says, my daddy wants to talk to you. A little Jewish boy comes in. My daddy wants to talk to you. He says, okay. He tells his driver to wait a second and goes over. He says, excuse me, are you the Jew you were here 10 years ago? Here, what do you mean here, 10 years ago? This is the town. Remember you were here? I was here with the Rebbe of Tolna. You were here? I said, oh, yeah, this. But where is your hotel? He says, look, here it is. Look, it's 5 stories high. Right in the back, there's a tennis court, there's a golf course, there's everything that the Rebbe said. Said, see, these are my children. 10 beautiful children. Look at them. It's all from the blessing of this Rebbe. I said, wow, really? He said, yeah, as soon as the Rebbe left, things started to change. All of a sudden people came and there came a builder and he said that he would build for free. He wanted to just be partners with me. And sure enough, he built it up. Then my wife became pregnant. We had children. Everything is from his blessing. So listen, tell me, this Rebbe of Tolna, he's still alive? He said, yeah, he's still alive. He's sure, old man, but here in the city of Tolna, not far from here. So the rich man says, thank you very much, jumps back into his carriage, says, drive to the city of Tolna, goes to Tolna, goes to asks over there where this Rebbe lives, goes into the house of the Rebbe. As soon as he opens the door, he says, oh, Shalom Aleichem, you were in that hotel 10 years ago. He said, yeah, I was there. He said, you were pretty amazed, huh? And did you see the blessing? Did you see what happened? God blessed the man. It was amazing. He said, listen, Rebbe, I want to understand something. If you have first of all, I want to apologize. I want to apologize for the bad, negative thoughts that I thought about you. I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry. To reveal truth in this world is not an easy thing. You had every right to have doubts and to. If I was in your place, I would also have doubts. It's a miracle from God. How I have these powers, I have absolutely no idea. I said, but listen, I want to understand something. If you have these powers and you're able to bring God's blessing into the world, then why did you have to empty this guy's bank account? Why did you have to take so much money from him? Why couldn't you just bless him and that's it? The Rebbe said, I want to tell you. He says, really, the fact is, I could have blessed him without taking the money. I could have blessed him, no problem. But he was not able to receive the blessing. By him, that money, that was his security, that was his past, that was his future, that was his whole being, that was his help, that was his life, that was his God. Everything, his whole being, him and his wife was in that money. As long as they had that, they can't receive any blessings from God. Their cup was already full. I had to empty them out completely in order that they should be vessels in order to receive the truth. And that's the same thing that we're learning here in our mimer that we're learning. That the 70 oxes, it says, came in order to weaken the egotism of the non-Jews. And when that happens, then the non-Jews will be open to a blessing, and amazing blessings will occur. Amazing blessings. And I just want to say something that I said in the beginning. I read in the bathroom, I see the news, right? When do I look at the news? And I saw over there that the Pope made an official declaration that capitalism is evil. I don't know if it's true, but I think it is. Capitalism is evil. And that the reason that there's trouble in the world is because the governments in the world do not want to accept the new world order. They don't want to accept the new world order. I mean, that's really evil. They don't want to accept the new world order, and that communism is our answer, that there should be equally shared money. There shouldn't be any private industry. There's the Pope. So if this falls down, I mean, this is really a sign. If you ask me, the lie that this whole thing was. I mean, the whole Christianity was built on destroying Judaism. That's what it's built on this right. The essence of Judaism is, if you want to call it, capitalism. Everybody has to own their own. There's people that must be rich, and there's people that must be poor, but not permanently. The idea is that the rich should be aroused with charity to give to the poor, and that's a bigger blessing to give than it is to be physically rich. By giving is a tremendous, that all of the world will feel this. That's the answer to the world's problems, that people will give on their own. But if the government forces them to give, that's the opposite. So if this really comes out that he's going to, that there's like, what is it? How many? There's like 1.5, some 2 billion Catholics in the world. A lot of Catholics, which is totally based on a total lie. The whole thing is just a big lie. But up to now, there's been this veneer of kindness, and I guess maybe they did good things. I don't know. When Hitler stood up, they were right with him. Oh, they were, the Catholics, they were right there. So if this, this is an amazing thing, that if it really is true, that he came out with such a statement of evil and destruction, and that this is what the church stands for. This is, the Rebbe said a lot of times, that one of the main things of the future redemption is that all of the evil and all the bad will be revealed. So everyone will see it. Hello? Okay. Have a good day, everyone. Chag Sameach.